right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. This is another episode of The Full Set. This is episode number 36, and I hope I'm saying it right. Because there's no going back after this.
This is what it is.
This is what it is. I said what I said. I am DiDi Delgado. I'm your hostess with the mostess. I'm going to be saying that forever now that I stumbled upon it last night. I am so elated to be here with my esteemed colleague. Like, I don't even think I've processed you're really here with us. That's what I want to say. I'd like to welcome Sonya Renee Taylor to The Full Set. Sonya, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it. I'm trying to Instagram people and tell them that I'm on with you live on
Facebook. And I still haven't got the Instagram thing together. My team has been trying to figure out how do we stream on IG at the same time. I was like, maybe it's just not meant to happen that way because Instagram is funny.
It stays being fickle.
So I want to I know that all the beautiful people hate this, but I'm going to read your bio because I think that people need to actually sit with the weight of who you have been and who you are working on towards being. And for me, that's like super important. And also I'm putting your Venmo and your PayPal as the pinned comment. It's also in the whatchamacallit? It's in the description of the video, so people can't miss this.
Okay.
All right. So Sonya Renee Taylor is an international artist, author, activist, and transformational, we're going to get into it, leader. Sonya is also the best-selling author of 2 books, not one, but 2. The Body is Not an Apology and Celebrate Your Body and Its Changes Too. And founder and radical executive officer. I got to start using that. Can I borrow that?
You totally can.
Thank you. Radical executive officer of The Body is Not an Apology, an international digital media and education company committed to radical self-love as a foundational tool of social justice, whose content reaches over 1 million people monthly. Sonya has shared her work and activism across the US, New Zealand, Australia, I don't know why I said it like that, UK, Scotland, Sweden, Germany, Canada, Brazil, and the Netherlands. Sonya have been seen on and heard and read on HBO, BET, MTV, TV1, NPR, PBS, CNN, Oxygen Network, the New York Times, the New York Magazine, the Bronx, I don't know, I feel like everything, in MSNBC, Today.com, Huffington Post, Vogue Australia, Shape.com, Miss Magazine, and so many more. Sonya shared stages with such luminaries as the late Amiri Baraka, Angela Davis, Sonia Sanchez, and many others. Last but certainly not least, in 2016, Sonya was a guest of the Obama White House.
Only the Obama White House. We don't mess with this other one, so.
Where she spoke about The Body is Not an Apology's work at the intersection of LGBTQIAA+ issues and disability justice. Sonya currently resides in New Zealand, where she is an inaugural fellow in the Edmund Hillary Fellowship for Global Impact and Change Makers. You can learn more about, why am I talking like this?
I think you only can say it that way for the rest of life. It's like the Edmund Hillary Fellowship.
Yes, darling. Yes. You can learn certainly more about her radical self-love work at SonyaReneeTaylor.com and TheBodyIsNotAnApology.com. So welcome to everyone who is joining us. Like Erin said, we got to clarify sometimes. Please make sure you are leaving comments and that you share this post so that way we can get some change going into the jar today. So Sonya, thank you again. I have nothing planned. I just want to talk with you. That's it.
I love it. Yes. I support that.
Thank you very much. So firstly, when you first appeared on my screen, I was like, multitasking, and you came on through with the stripes. You came through dripping. And isn't it a farce that they tell us all the time, big femmes are not supposed to be wearing stripes out here in these internet streets?
That's how you know it's all made up. Because I'm like, because what you can't tell me is that I'm not serving in my stripes. And so I'm clear.
You came through dripping.
Correct. So I'm clear. All the rules are made up. Imaginary. Yes. Totally imaginary.
Amazing. Like, and I mean, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I was like, me 5, you 11. It's fine.
No comparison.
But that's what I was going to say. In your book, The Body is Not an Apology, and please don't judge me because I was eating a Pop-Tart and I used it as a bookmarker. The Body is Not an Apology.
So here for it.
Thank you. You did discuss how we compare ourselves to one another and it does us a disservice. Can you share with my following what you meant by that? Because I feel like I'm in situations all the time. I compare myself to other activists. I compare myself to other femmes. I can compare myself to Black men. I compare myself to my white peers. I consider, my coworkers, et cetera, et cetera. How are we in a world that tells us we need to compete? And then we're like inherently I'm inherently, I don't know about anybody else. I'm like, there's no competition, right? How do we mitigate the harm that we do to ourselves when we compare ourselves to others?
Yeah. So the premise of that idea is that, first of all, let me actually say this. Let me say thanks for having me.
I feel like you're going
to. I was like, let me roll back.
What you rolling back?
Let me roll back. I want to roll back and first just say thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be in the conversation with you. Real for real. So I want to say that what feels important to me to say is that I think there's a lot of ways which people read the book and the work of The Body is Not an Apology and situate it in a way that is, like it can get conflated to this idea of body image and it can get conflated to this idea of body positivity. And, in this particular historical moment, if ever there were a time for me to say that what I'm talking about in The Body is Not an Apology is I'm talking about social change. And I'm talking about the ways in which our individual indoctrinations into these systems are what allow the systems to stand. And so when I'm talking about comparison, what I'm talking about is a society that is structured on a system of bodily hierarchy, on a system that says that there is some way in which some people are at the top and some people are at the bottom based on a multitude of things, very specifically, in many ways about our bodies, but also about our class, about our gender, about, about our economic status, all of these differentiations that stratify our worthiness. And that our participation in the act of comparison is to reify the system of hierarchy. Every time we participate in am I as good as, we validate the system. We say, yes, that is true. It is true that it is possible to be in a better body than some other body, which must mean that the resources that are denied as a result of being in certain bodies, the harm that comes to us as a result of being in certain bodies, that all of that must be valid and true as well.
Right.
Because as long as that system exists, all the outcomes of that system will also exist. So as long as we continue to affirm our own sense of worth and identity inside of that system stays standing. That's why we have to divest from this idea of comparison as the way in which we relate to ourselves and relate to others, because it undergirds and solidifies the entire system of oppression.
I feel personally attacked by that statement.
I'm sorry.
No, but this is some real shit. I mean, you wouldn't even think that this is a parlay into systems like white supremacy, because then we're always talking about a seat at the table, and it's because we're comparing. I believe that we're comparing one another to each other, or even across class divide and racial divides, ableist divides, right? We're saying, well, anything you can do, I can do better, right?
Right.
Or and things like that, or I'm the baddest bitch, or I mean, of all the bitches, right?
Of all the
bitches, and we do the thing, right? And so, what tips, if any, because I feel like you authored the whole book, but like, what quick tips?
Yeah.
Someone like do a self check-in. Like, if I had to be real about my shit, if I wanted to do a self check-in, what could I say to myself in the moment that I feel it coming up for me that I have to like literally put someone here and be like, and how do I measure up against this person?
Yeah, what in me right now doesn't believe I'm enough? Because that question, as soon as you get to that, as soon as you're like, I want to judge myself against you, that's actually about what in me doesn't believe I'm enough, exactly as I am, right? And so, yeah, so that question, I'm a firm believer that the more we ask ourselves questions, like those questions stop us. They like interrupt the default way of being. So ask yourself that question. And when that comparison urge comes up, what in me right now doesn't feel like I'm enough? And then once you let yourself hear that, give that place some love. That's the next thing, is to say, okay, I feel like I'm not as, I feel like I'm not as powerful as everybody else who's actually, like, I'm not, my contribution doesn't matter because I'm not out on the front lines right now, right? That's a story for me. That's just me talking about me.
Can
right?
you say
like,
that again for the activists in the back?
I will. Right. My
It's me,
contradiction.
I'm the activist in the back.
So there's some part of me that doesn't feel like I'm enough because I'm not doing this thing. And so how do I love the Sonya who doesn't feel like she's enough? I love you, Sonya, who doesn't feel like you're enough because you're not on the front line. Right. And because all that part really wants is for me to acknowledge it and be tender with it. Right. And to listen to the story it's trying to tell me, because the story is that somehow my gifts aren't as important as other people's gifts. That's what's behind that.
Right.
Because the truth of the matter is that my gifts are my gifts, and only in a system of comparison would it somehow even occur to me that my gifts are not valuable. I like to say, like, the ocean has never declined one raindrop.
Oh, she a poet. I forgot.
Right.
It's in the bio, but the ocean. As soon as you said ocean, I was like, here we go.
Here we go with the poems.
Come through with the haikus.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is going to be such a great conversation. So
that's the question.
Thank you for that. When we talk about even there's a phenomenon that happens and we don't consider it comparison because we have this higher sense of self, right? That's actually false, right? And like when we shit post or we shit talk or whatever, we're actually saying, like, I'm talking about this so much because there are things that come up for me as a mirror, and I think that not enough of us acknowledge it. And so I've noticed when you just said, you need to ask yourself, I feel like I'm the king of duality, right? I go halfway into the conversation, I'm like, you know what? And I reframe for myself, and my friends don't know what the fuck is going on. But I'm like, you know what? No, I understand why homegirl did that. That comes from like years of trauma, this, that, and the third. She gonna be who she gonna be, and I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be. And like, let's leave it like that. And it's just very interesting that I wish we could all have this kind of shift. Because I was saying, I think that Black women in particular have been so used to saying we're not your mules, but also acknowledging that we are your mules and being a community container for so many people, places, things, that we like shoot shots at each other because we know that it's I wanted to use a phrase with bullets in it, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, we act as if the other is bulletproof because we know what we can hold. And I think I want to challenge that. And I follow you because it's like, I feel like I see you unpacking it. Like, you just be like, let me write about fruit and the ways in which that needs to be unpacked, right? and I'm like, you better go.
You better unpack fruit.
Yes, So, like, if we could, when you say the body, I also think about the ways in which our body like reacts to being called to the carpet, or reacts to being spoken about, or reacts to like this visceral reaction. What would it look like? Are we imagining worlds where our bodies look different and we accepting that's that person, and not just their body, but this is how they
the fullness
showing
of
up.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a question.
I don't know either, but it gives me some thoughts. I think that we are so wounded, we are so wounded. And I think very particularly, Black women and femmes, there is a way in which we both need each other the most and distrust each other the most, right? And part of the distrust is because when we show up as beautifully imperfect and fallible with one another, it highlights all the it's a reflection, right? So when you're imperfect, all I see is my own imperfections, right?
Right.
And all I see is my story of how it's not okay for me to be imperfect. And so then I have to judge you with the same harshness I would judge myself when I'm imperfect. And it's one of those places where I find that the more compassionate I can be with myself, the more compassionate I am able to be with others. That basically the world is just a reflection of my relationship with me. That's what it is. And so when those barbs happen, when we get called on the carpet and or when we get hurt, by another Black woman or femme, it feels like such a deeper betrayal. The part of it is because
I've read that a lot. It be
yeah,
your own. It's the worst when it's your own.
it's
I'm like,
your shame was your own.
Is it the worst?
Is it? Right, but what we're really saying, it's the worst when it's me. Is what we're really saying, it's the worst when I've betrayed myself, and I haven't figured out how to forgive myself when I betray myself. So when my reflection betrays me, right, that which I see and see myself. And it's one of the most beautiful things about Blackness is that we do look at each other and see ourselves. It's the reason why we all on the streets right now, because one of us was murdered and we see ourselves, right? But it also highlights the places where we aren't giving ourselves grace, when we aren't giving ourselves compassion. And then that causes us to be particularly acerbic with one another. And I think that, again, the practice, I'm gonna give you some words today.
I'm grateful. I'm in gratitude right now.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity to be like, oh, where am I not meeting myself with the thing it is that I'm so angry that this other person didn't meet me with? Where am I not meeting myself?
And I appreciate that reframing because, sometimes I'm not sure. I don't ever want to trigger Black folks, right? More than what we already experiencing. I feel like we in the midst of a global pandemic and are disproportionately affected. Everything that's happening, we disproportionately affected. But when it comes to these protests, and I don't want to just say protest, when it comes to the uprising that's happening in city, I in my lifetime have never seen this. I just turned 36 2 months ago, and I've never seen anything like this. And as an organizer myself, I'm like excited, nervous, I'm scared because I'm like, I was talking to a friend of mine, E-Rock, and I was like, does this mean that this is the time, or is this just like a little mile marker along the road? Like where are we at? I guess I just need to be in the know. So when you say, like, during this time, like when we see someone who's murdered by state-sanctioned violence, what do you think, if anything, is the reason why there are so many different people on the fence about what the response is supposed to be, if we all feel it? Like from the people who are in the church to the people who are on Skid Row to the people who got God just on the inside, what is that, the knowing that this is wrong, right? And then like the justification that we do to ourselves.
I
like to ask the questions. That's what I do.
I was like, that's a good question. I like it. I think that, again, it's this place where we've got to be honest about where the system has dictated how we show up to it. Right? That there's and that lives across all of the responses. Be clear that the system telling you how to show up to it lives in the church's request for respectability and peaceful protest, as much as it lives in the throwing the brick through the Foot Locker store and walking out with 10 pair of. All of those things are the systems saying, here's what we expect you to do. Right? And so there is, again, this place where we have to be like, what are the things that I was told that I was told make me good enough? In the brick through the Foot Locker window and the 10 pairs, that's what I was told, was how much can I amass as property? How much can I take and then flip, right? So that I can get more money, because that's how I was told I'm valuable. To the respectability churches, I was told I'm valuable if I behave and I speak properly and I know how to interact with white people so that they don't kill me. That's how I was told I was valuable. So all of these responses are inside of them, because I do think we are at a moment where we are saying we see this and enough is enough. And inside of our response to that still lives the messages that we've indoctrinated from the system. And so we got to be asking ourselves, what part of how I'm showing up right now is what they told me to do? And what part of how I'm showing up right now is what my God, my source, my people, my ancestors told me to do? And that requires, intentionality, which means sometimes we got to sit before we react. And that don't mean we won't break the window. Let me be clear.
Please at me next time.
Right,
Sit
right.
before you react. Wow. Just
Right.
at me next time.
Right. And because the action might not look different. The intention behind the action is what looks different. And the intention behind the action is what dictates ultimately how that will change this moment or not, right? So either we're going to go back, just like you said, in this sort of precipice of doing what we always did, and this is just a little milestone marker, or the intention is this must be transformed. And from that place, the action leads to transformation. But we're going to have to sit with ourselves and get clear about what's operating, what's driving that, or else we'll make the same thing. We'll keep making the system over and over again.
Spirit is telling me to ask you the follow-up question, who am I, right?
Thank you, Mommy.
Thank you, Mommy. So my question is then how do we not project our mirror that you spoke about earlier onto others when they're not where we're at? Because we have to remind ourselves we wasn't where 2020 DiDi is not 2014 DiDi. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so how do we, again, with those quick self-check-ins, how do I say in the midst of, y'all nakers need to get your shit together. How do I pause?
Your nakers.
Your nakers need to get your shit together.
I'm taking nakers. I ain't heard it before. I'm taking it. You
haven't seen the white woman who was trying to describe the new, she said she was trying to mix the New York Knicks and the LA Lakers, and she said nakers. Was she on
the news? Oh, wasn't she on the news? Yes,
she said niggers,
girl,
but she was like, no,
girl,
I
get
said
out of
nakers.
So, I'll fight her. I swear to goodness. Bring her to me. I'll fight her. That's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Wow. I need air conditioning. Okay. So, sweat underneath my boobs. Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to ask you, like, how do we do that quick self check-in and be like, hold up, I'm expending way too much energy on this because this is who I fight with myself. Because I will tell you, Sonia, at the end of the day, I have my moments where I'll be like, burn the whole fucking shit down. And then on the other hand, I'm like, y'all niggas don't got no strategy. Like, so this is this is my own shit. How do I not project it onto other people?
I think yes. That's a good question and a good reflection. And again, so in the book, and I'm going to pull in the Body's Not an Apologies work into this conversation because I do think that there
holder.
Come on. Did it have the frosting on it? Was the Pop-Tart? It was frosted.
You leave my s'mores alone.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
So in the book, we talk about sort of how do you learn to move from a radical self-love ethos? Because that to me is the question you're asking me, is like, how do I move from my most authentic version of myself rather than my reactionary, responsive, indoctrinated version of myself?
I need to finish reading the book then, if that's the question that
you asked and answered. Go on ahead and do it. Like, go on and do it.
I love that. Can you say that question again?
Yes. So how do I move from my radical self-love self, which is my authentic, most clearly sourced, know that I'm worthy enough, know that I'm inherently divine self, versus moving from my responsive, reactionary, indoctrinated self. The process of that I call a thinking, doing, being process, right? Okay. The first step is that you actually have to raise to consciousness what operates just as default, right? Like the pop off is default. Oh, and then, like that shit happens so fast. It happens so fast you can't even catch it. But part of what
I've been good for a month and I popped off today, and I tagged the niggas too because I don't like to do subs on this, not on Beyonce bandwidth. I was like, what's the problem? But then I thought about it. I was like, should I delete it? No, but
in the whole internal battle.
Right.
In the whole internal battle. And it's because I've gotten some practice at this. I'm a little better than I used to be. Because I was like, oh, I was on. But then what I realized, this was like, oh, the energy I expend giving to that space.
Okay.
The energy I expend giving to that space that is so much more powerfully used, directing it where I actually want to be, directing it towards the paths that bring me peace, power, joy, ease, or pleasure. Like, that's actually where I want to go. And so if I'm responding to a thing that doesn't give me access to peace, power, joy, ease, or pleasure, then I'm off my path. Ooh. And so when I have that thinking, so first I have to raise to consciousness the thinking. Oh, what is this welling up in me right now that wants to act right now without thinking? Right. Okay. Once I'm conscious of that thinking, the slowing down process to get conscious of your thought is how you create choice around action. You can't create choice around action if you actually are not connected to the thought that is inspiring the action. So that's where the sit and take a moment is. As soon as you feel a thing, just stop. As soon as you feel like, I'm gonna go do this thing right now, don't do it. That's your first assignment. As soon as that thing comes, I'm about to do that right now, I'm gonna respond right now, don't. Just go sit your ass down for 10 minutes.
Can somebody write that down for me and then inbox me, please? Just don't do this shit.
Just go sit down.
The thing that I want to ask you is directly related to that. It's like, okay, so I'm not clearly in a space right now. Like, I'm on my higher level, but if I had to be honest with myself, I'm hearing what you've written about so far. I'm on chapter 4. I need to, okay, baby. We can work with that.
Keep going. We got this. We in there. You're on your way.
I need to get to a place for me personally. And I feel like I'm saying this because I know a lot of my vulnerability resonates with my following, because they're not really like in fellowship with people who actually say, these are my flaws. But I do need to stop doing it so often, because it do look like I'm my own whipping post. But something I do is, if a friend tells me that someone has wounded them deeply, or like something that they were working towards with another friend just like stopped dead in its tracks, and like it was nasty, the break off was disgusting, or it could be a business, or it could be, do you know I went to McDonald's and these motherfuckers gave me fucking honey mustard? And I would be like, at McDonald's, don't you
here you get my friend honey mustard,
you know this bitch asked for barbecue.
But
what I think I hear you say, or the story I'm telling myself, and we're gonna get into that phrase in a second too.
Okay, yes, I love that.
But thank you. The story that I'm telling myself is, now that I've understood just by speaking to you, is that really it's a mirror reaction from myself. I may not be defending my friend. I may be defending the fact that I have felt so vulnerable and open, and no one was there to stand up for me.
To defend you.
I just want to fight everybody.
Yes.
I'm trying to be a better person in 2020.
Yeah, I love it. But and that is such a key insight though. Like, that's such a key insight. It's like, oh, this battle I'm fighting right now is actually me fighting all the people that didn't defend me when I was my most vulnerable, right? And the request in that moment is how, because that means immediately it's not actually about your friend. It ain't about McDonald's and the honey mustard that they gave instead of the barbecue sauce. It's about all of the ways in which you are being asked to go and retrieve your relationship with you. And and so much of our external stuff is an attempt to avoid being with us.
You made a honey jar before you came on the show, didn't you? Being tender with yourself. You better go ahead. Okay. I'll accept that. I think what I need to do for me, because I need to just be by myself, and I'm not saying it in a way to be funny or push people away, but I think that, and maybe you can attest to this, having a platform and feeling like this is a way that I can engage with people who need to follow my work, and so that way I can promote my work. I get involved in like these relationships. I won't say fights, relationships with people. And then because it's sort of like familiarity breeds contempt, I find myself like, showing up in the way that I would wanted to have shown up for me if I had the power back then, right?
Right.
And so what I'd like to do is actually put up a boundary and say, at this time, maybe for the next 3 months, so I could just figure this whole thing out and like make it click. Don't tell me
Yeah.
your problems, not because I don't want to hear it, but I'm probably not the best community container to process the harm and trauma you just experienced, because I'm still in a place where I want to fight everybody. Is
Right.
that a good
Right.
boundary to have?
I think that's an excellent boundary. I
You
tell people
came
all
through
the
with the feather
time.
earrings. I mean, you
Okay.
you can say what a boundary is. I don't care. Okay.
I tell people, here's my favorite thing to tell people. I think this might be my favorite thing I tell people is I only give from my overflow. And if I'm not overflowing, you can't have what's in my cup. And so what I'm hearing you say is that there's this part, right? This part that is still tender and needs healing and needs tending to, which means that you are not actually that response, that anger, that I'm gonna go fight everybody is not your overflow. It's your under resource, right? It is the place where there is still deficit and
Are you
lack.
saying we're lying to ourselves when we be like, I got time? Because no, I
Yeah,
don't
you
have
ain't
the
got
time.
no time. You don't. That's the lie of lies. You got the time to turn around and go figure out what's wounded in you that make you over here on the internet telling people you got the time today. Right? Because usually what that means is I'm telling. Right? I got the time means I actually am not about to give the time to myself. I'm about to give the time to you because I don't want to sit with me.
Okay.
You know?
Wow. Did not expect this conversation to go this way.
I'm sorry I didn't give you a heads up.
No. I feel like that's why I try not to plan the calls, because I want them to be authentic as possible, because I feel like that's when we're finding our truest selves,
Yep.
right? That's when we're doing the examination, when we catch ourselves off guard and be like,
oh. Real time.
DiDi said that too.
Yep.
Okay. She ain't talking about me particularly, but
Right.
glad to know. And then it's something that sits with the person, because a lot of what you say sits with me. I want to shift to something because I want to be messy for a second. I wouldn't be myself if I wasn't messy.
If you weren't being messy.
Ooh, child. But I'm also trying to reframe that narrative, right? Because I don't have the time to be messy.
Got it.
Something that happened recently, and I just took a screenshot of it because I had to go do my research again, make sure that it is what I saw.
Okay.
Is that a lot of people attributed something you said.
Yes.
A white woman.
Yes.
Trying to be on your trajectory, but not really, because she don't got the source like you. And I never understood her, because it's really hard for me to connect to white women. I have been showing her stuff, and I'm just like, there's a lot of her here. And when I speak, and when I'm sitting here speaking with you, and there's a lot of community that comes with you. And so I appreciate that. But the quote was, "We will not go back to normal. Normal never was. Our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than what we normalized: greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnection, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not return, or we should not long to return, my friends. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all of humanity and of nature." Now, when you said it, it sounded like a Sonya Renee Taylor statement. But the internet superimposed it. The internet superimposed it onto a photo of a one Sonya Brene Brown, I guess. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. It was fraudulent. And there had to be a lot of white women that went back and made corrections. Some didn't, you know. How do you feel as someone whose job, and forgive me if I've called it a job, someone whose current purpose and trajectory is to create content for other people to sit with and sift through and examine themselves, and it be attributed to someone else?
Yeah. So I feel like it was a complicated moment, but also a very like a hella, this is what we do. Like it was complicated, and it felt like, of course someone would take my words and put it on top of but literally superimpose a white woman's face and then put my words on top of it, because white supremacy, right? So like I'm not
Right.
in the least bit surprised, right, that there's and I think it's a thing for white people to investigate in themselves, that in order to receive that which resonates with you, it must come from another white person, right? Like that's really what that was about, was like somebody said this and I can't allow myself the access that there might be a Black woman leading me to a version of awareness that I can sit in. And so I'm gonna have to put that on a white woman's face. And like, and for me, that's for them to sort through for themselves. I have a lot of respect for Brene Brown's work. I think that it has
I will retract my statement. The woman
you are allowed to have your feelings, whatever those feelings are. We don't have to share the same feelings about that.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to sit in my own shit. Thank you.
Yeah, you have your feelings, whatever those are. I think that she has brought a level of commonplaceness to a conversation that we were not having as richly in the mainstream culture as we are today. And I think that her work is part of that. But that doesn't have nothing to do with the fact that she ain't say that. I just be
extending grace. But go ahead, Sonya. Child. That was very graceful.
I mean, and it's not even, and I'm not being, diplomatic or political.
No, I know you're not, but I'm raising the contentious point that was very graceful.
I try to put out in the world that which it is I want returned to me, and whether or not it'll be returned to me, I don't know. I assume at some point it will be, right? But it's also, I'm clear, it's the premise of radical self-love. Again, I can't create externally what I haven't created internally. So I only extend to people that which I try to extend to myself. And Lord knows I've needed 1 billion years worth of grace. And so today I actually give myself grace. I give myself grace for my imperfections and my half-assedness and myself. I told my friend the other day, I was like, I ain't shit. Because I ain't call her back when I said I was. And I do that regularly. I was like, I ain't shit. And I was like, but I love you and thank you for loving me and my ain't shitness. And together we get to be loving and graceful to ourselves. And so I extend that which I give myself to the world. But
I appreciate that.
What felt really real about that moment was, and this is the other thing, is like, for me, I'm a deep believer in the spiritual principles of the world, right? And so it don't really matter what humans do at the end of the day, because they are only going to do that which the spiritual realm deems necessary for my highest good. That's just the way I move through my world. So when that happened, and all of a sudden it was Brene Brown who said the thing that I said, I was like, that's not mine to fix. I was like, I'm gonna have to release. First of all, I can't.
We not worthy. Teach me your ways, because had it been somebody I know, there would have been a horde of people.
Here's the deal. First of all, just on a practical level, well, I can't chase down every foolish white yoga woman who decided to attribute my words to Brene Brown. I can't do it. That's its own. That would require its own job, right? That's a 24-hour thing.
Your spiritual bypass head on.
So I was like, so I can't even give that my time because I got other shit to do.
Okay.
And so here's where I leave it though. And again, this is my deep belief. Is like, my assignment is to do my work and trust my God. And that when I do my work, because my work ain't to chase down memes on the internet. My work is to speak truth to power, to try to help us illuminate that which we are hiding from ourselves so that we can more authentically move in the world through our radical self-love self. That's my job. That's my assignment. I'm doing my assignment. And God is like, if you do your assignment, I'll do the rest. Mind your business. I mind my business and trust that other people
and stay moisturized.
Stay hydrated in these streets. That's it. And when I did that, what had happened was other people did the work of being like, that's not Brene Brown's work. That's Sonya Taylor's work. And today I have 40,000 new followers I didn't have because somebody else.
I thought it was Brene Brown.
But now I'm on your page. Now I'm here on your page. That's Viola Davis retweeted that because she recognized it. Oops, that's not Brene Brown. That's
Listen,
this black
Viola
woman.
Davis re-released the meme of Viola Davis grabbing her purse and leaving.
Exactly. That misattribution has been so beneficial to me.
Okay.
Been beneficial to me.
You better come through with this word.
It was a win. It was
Okay.
a win, and it was a win because I minded my business and did my work and trusted my God.
Okay.
And all the rest of it got sorted out. But if I was over here trying to chase down every single one, I wouldn't have been doing my work, which means that I would have been missing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing in the world. Sometimes my ego wanted to chase it down.
Can you tell me more about your ego, please?
Yes, let me talk to you right.
No, seriously. So I'm gonna set the pace because I want to also respect your time too. I set you for an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. So I want to talk about ego because I wasn't sure if we was gonna get there. And I also feel like there's this concurrent theme in like the last 3 shows where I talked about conflict because no one really has the answer or everyone has different answers. Mm-hmm. But something I want to ask you about is the ego and like how it contributes to conflict. I also want to talk to you. The reason why I have the rapper in the book is because I want to talk to you about when you were talking about the 4 pillars of being in practice with yourself. And then I also have a coaster in here because that's real. You don't have to look at me like that.
Fuck these Post-its. Don't nobody need Post-its. We need coasters and Pop-Tart wrappers. That's all you need.
Thank you. I want to talk to you about unapologetic inquiry into our bodies because I noticed something while having an amazing weekend with an amazing lover
yummy. I'm like, yay. My Scorpio self is like, ooh, tell me more.
Okay, so my thought process was, obviously I'm a very confident person and I'm real about my shit, but something that kept coming up was like the cuddling thing. And I was like, my perception of my own body is I can't be in relation to this moment because of how I feel about my body. It was like, he's like, no, you lay here on top of me, just like, relaxing, Netflix and chill. And I was like, no, let's switch places because I'm probably about 120 pounds heavier than you. And I feel uncomfortable, but I also know there's that dichotomy that I don't owe anyone a flat stomach and I don't owe anyone rapid weight loss in order to be in community, not only with myself, but with them. So those 3 things I'd really like to get to in this show is the ego, the check-in about being unapologetically radical about our bodies, right? And how my body is mine and it is right for me and this world. And then also too, like, how do we move forward? Knowing what we've been taught, how do we unlearn it? So, I mean, I'm just setting the stage for you. It wasn't gonna happen like that, but it happened like that. So thank you.
Got it.
So ego. When you said, like going through this and then even transitioning into other things, first of all, like you're a poet and all this other stuff. So I already knew when I saw you on Button Poetry, I know that that's not the sum of your work, but I knew that when I saw you slamming, I was like, there's an element of ego there that really can't be touched, but needs to be sometimes. Like I don't slam anymore. I'm really good at it, but I get very angry when people judge my shit. And I'm like, you thought that was a 9.7? Is you serious right now?
Right.
That's the problem. Actually, meet me outside. Like I've actually there's a video of me on the internet still. I refuse to delete it, where I was crying after a slam because my ego. I knew that I had said the right words. I know that I had moved the right people. And that's all my words really should be doing. But I wanted to win that $130. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was the ego. And so, like, how do you navigate and mitigate the harm that your ego does? Because it's a part of yourself. It's shadow work, right? And it's all the things that we need to unpack. But like, where to even start? I feel like my ego is personally protective of myself. It's like my petty is as a protective measure. I kind of want to like onion that shit. I want to peel away the things that don't serve my ego, because the ego isn't inherently a bad thing. We all know this, right? How, like, what are your tips for like saying, okay, you could be the baddest of bitches and also you could just be a regular bitch and be okay?
Right. Well, to me, all of those things go right back to that central question is like, what is it? So my ego is the place I where I go to situate myself when I'm still plugged into the hierarchy, when I'm still plugged into
Mhm.
there must be some externalized factor that assesses my enoughness, right? So my ego is what adjusts to obtain my enoughness when my enoughness doesn't feel inherent. So when I'm feeling my ego come up and make decisions, so for example, my ego was like, let me go and let all these people know.
Let me tag this chick real quick.
Right. I was like, that's not actually
The
pardon,
honey mustard
actually.
shouldn't have came with these nuggets.
That's not right. But again, that's that moment where you're being given the opportunity to sit.
Right. Okay.
Because the ego's going to come up. It's going to tell you to do some
You
stuff.
are so fucking inspiring. Look at you sitting with that bullshit. Okay, go ahead. Woo!
So it's going to tell you to do some stuff, right? And again, once that happens, again, that question I gave at the beginning, which is, what in me right now doesn't feel enough? Because as soon as, because that's what my ego just wants me to feel like I'm enough. And bless my ego's heart. Like my ego is like, oh, you didn't give me my extra 3 points in this slam. Like, are you telling me my work is not enough? Right?
Are you nutty?
Are you right?
I went 0.10 over and you want to deduct
me?
Do you know I had everyone getting attention?
You don't see? Right. And really what it is right. It's like, oh, in this moment, this thing that I had already, that's the challenge with slam too. And competitive things in general is it's set up to give you a hit of externalized enoughness. That's the whole reason we compete. Right? We compete because it's like, oh, there's an opportunity for me to go gather some enoughness and $200. Right? And soon as we actually let ourselves grapple with the not enoughness, to grapple with the feeling of that not enoughness, it gives us an opportunity to like not let ego be the dictator of how we move through the world. It can be an informer. If anything, it's a beautiful informer. It's going to tell me, I don't know where he is.
I had to put that
some
water on
some Florida water. Florida water.
Yeah. Brought to you by our sponsors.
Yes. So the ego is a great opportunity. The ego is information. The ego, because the ego again wants you to be enough, wants you to feel good enough, wants you to feel valuable, wants you to feel worthy. But it's usually directing you towards some externalized version of that, which means that it's directing you to something that isn't sustainable anyway, which is why people been slamming for 15 years, because they still trying to get a hit of enoughness 15 years later, right? I'm sorry, I know I'm reading somebody right now. My apologies.
It
but
weren't
not really.
me, because I people be like, but you're so good at it. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't spam anymore either. And part of it is because I was like, ooh, that's my ego. And I'm, I'm like, oh, I will come and take your championship. Right. And I'm like, right, because there's a thing that I crave in that still is what is asking to be shored up internally, So yeah, I think ego is your information. Okay. They just there to tell you, hey, this is a part that still needs some tending, or this is a place where you're trying to go outside to get something you're supposed to go inside to get.
Okay. You a bad bitch, Sonya Renee Taylor. Let me tell you something.
Thank you, DiDi.
Came through dripping, came with all the jewels. It don't make no sense, but it makes sense, okay? Thank you. Something else I want to talk to you about is a lot of times you share things, and I'm like, yes. Where did you come from? You said this so succinctly. I've been telling niggas for years. They don't listen. Is the classism conversation. So there was an incident where I guess a woman did not have enough money and went out with a whole group of women and sat at the table. And then, when the bill came, she was like, you have to excuse my press on nails. She was like, I had the water, and the spinach artichoke dip, right? And then so this was a Facebook post, and these are women that I love, and it was a Facebook post, and it was like, and this is why I don't go, in the comment sections, all the Black women, again, community containers, right? And this is why I don't go nowhere with people. This is why I stay in my house. It's free to stay in. And I'm like, there's something wrong here. There's a disconnect here, right? There's a not taking care of one another here. There's a classism here. There's this mirror work that exists. And so I had attributed it to you because literally right in the middle of it happening, you made this post about how sometimes when we see ourselves in other people, we act vehemently, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's a visceral reaction because we wish we could tell ourselves, you don't deserve. And are you really going to spend this money just to floss today? And so many of us are one paycheck away from being the woman
who could itemizing the water and the artichoke.
You understand what I'm saying? Right. And at the end of the day, I was like, there was a time when you didn't have that state job, boo. There was a time when you wasn't a community organizer and you was getting paid $55,000 a year. There was a time. And did you deserve the things you did? Like, and it was interesting because the dialogue that it opened up on my page, I guess I just want to say thank you, because I feel like I had to, and I'm pretty sure this happens to you all the time as a dark-skinned woman, that lighter-skinned women and white women like Brene Brown probably utilize your words, but I just really hope that people continue to attribute you, because you are such, I don't want to say stalwart, that's not the right word. Well, you are such a beacon isn't the right word. You are such a navigant of light.
You better give me the student loan word. Yes, navigant. Hopefully they are currently discharging my loans, as you said that. They're like, Sonya, you don't need to have bills here.
You better speak some manifestations right now.
Yes.
And so I feel like you're a navigator in this area, and like, the white women can have it fine or whatever, but I feel like I asked you to come here because I needed you to speak to the niggas who was like, we don't know what intersectionality is, but we know this shit is fucked up, right? And how, like, we talk about healing, but not really how we heal at the intersection of being poor, at the intersection of being fat, at the intersection of being disabled, right? At the intersection of being trans, and then all of those things being qualifiers on the unloving scale, right? And so I just appreciate the space we curated here, because this has been amazing, and I don't want to let you go, but I also know that, like, you need to have your time. You're in fucking New Zealand. What is it, like 5 a.m.? I don't even know. Like
12:34 in the afternoon. We're doing all right.
Well, I was close. And so but so I did want to ask you about the body thing, because I know that's your love language is bodies, like, and like, why do we feel that way? Like, we post these memes that say no one owes you a flat stomach, and then yet when I'm in a relationship or I'm in a situation where I am having the opportunity to absorb, I could have more enjoyed my weekend if I wasn't so fixated on the baby weight I've gained and that have not gotten rid of, right? If I was, and he was like, no, it's cool. Like, I'm playing with my stomach. I'm like, like,
right.
And so, like, how do we reconcile ourselves with ourselves when it comes to our bodies and what we've been told?
So it's a process, and it's not and there's no destination. It's not like, and then I arrived at the Isle of forever loving my thighs and never again had a bad thought.
You asked in your book, like, what's the last, like, body shaming purchase you made? Ma'am, I bought a waist trainer from Waist Snatchers and it don't fit. So in my mind, I was like, I just got to lose 11 pounds and then I'm going to get it on.
First of all, I love that the answer wasn't like, I bought it and it doesn't fit, which must means I wasn't supposed to buy this shit to begin with, which is a whole different reframe than I got to lose 11 pounds, right? So there's this, right?
You're right.
Right? And what I just call that is the outside voice inside of us, right? That's the system is indoctrinated us to think that way, right? That there must be something about me that needs to change, right? That obviously this I am isn't sufficient, right? And it's every time we catch that, right? Because we say, right, we'll put the meme, I don't owe you a flat stomach, but we don't believe it. That's all that is right. It's like, particularly right now in this time, and it's fashionable to say that you don't subscribe to these ideas. And so people say, I don't subscribe to these ideas anymore. But on the inside, they're like, I'm lying. But here's the reason why, though. It's because you still look outside at a world that validates the thinner body. You still look outside at a world that absolutely will promote that body over a different body. We are still in a container of systems and structures that tell us that bodily hierarchy is real and impacts our resources.
I don't want a thinner body. I just want to be able to see my vagina when I look down at it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that may not be thin. Should I lift it up? Should I lift up my fupa?
Because that was my next question, was like, somebody else is revering your belly and you're like, what would it take for you? You actually did the noise I made. I did. But in that moment, the request is for you to give you that which the external world, right? In this moment, that which someone else is lovingly trying to reflect to you. Somebody's saying, no, that's yummy. And you're like, And really the invitation is, how do I learn to have that person's relationship with me? So you need to be practicing, how do I touch that part and be like, how do I bring more love? That's really always the invitation. Because the world, and here's the political stance on that shit. The world desires you to hate it. Okay. It's perfect for them. It's fucking perfect for this system. It's perfect. It keeps you funding waist trainer companies. You're awesome.
I was like, I qualified it. I was like, she's a Black woman. Is she on Love and Hip Hop Miami? I support this.
So we are going to keep being given the opportunity, to challenge that external system. And anytime my relationship with myself reflects white supremacy's relationship with me, I know I'm in the wrong spot. If white supremacy is going to call me a fat, Black, ugly bitch, right? Or treat me that way, anytime that my relationship with that even looks like a gradient of that with myself,
come on, Navient.
It's an opportunity for me to say, okay, that's a place where that indoctrination is deep in me. What is an opposite and loving action that I can take toward myself in this moment? And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. Be willing to be, it's going to be uncomfortable tonight when you go and do this assignment I'm going to give you, which is to be with your belly and love it and touch it and speak sweetly to it. You're going to be like, what the fuck, Sonya, got me doing?
Look, I'm like, do I have mascara in my eye, or am I just blinking at you like, no, I don't want to do it? I don't know.
But each time that you give yourself that, you disrupt that shit that wants you dead. Because that's really, we treat it like it's some little shit, but it's not little shit. It's life and death shit. It's really life and death shit. And it feels tiny, but it's because we forget all the tiny pieces that go into holding this fucked up system in place. Those tiny pieces are our relationships, our daily relationship with us.
You don't have to be like this. I just want to let you know. Truth teller, soothsayer, bomb, honey in the jar of my heart. You don't have to be like this. No, the world does, like, you deserve like all the things, and the world still yet doesn't deserve you. Like, I really hope you know that out of all the books I have to still read, I'm literally in the midst of your book because I was like, there's a message here for me. I don't give a fuck about anybody else at this point, but there's a message here for me, and I appreciate the time that you took to pen this message to yourself, thus letting us see.
Thank you. Because that's really what it is. And the only reason that I'm able to pen it to myself and it work and speak to you is, again, because there isn't no other. There is no other. There's just the extension of me that is all the other beings that also are part of me. You are part of me. And so you saw you when I wrote it, because you is me.
The
Yeah.
last question I have for you is something I ask each and every single guest that appears.
Mm.
It's a two-pronged question because I'm a complicated
Okay.
bitch and I'm loving every single part of this
Here
complication.
for it.
Thank
Yes.
you. The first part is there anything that I did not ask you that you're actually surprised? Because I'm known as a controversial person, that you're actually surprised I didn't ask you, or were you like, oh shit, I have this project coming up. This bitch better like share it, da da da, whatever. And the second part is, who would you like to see on the show?
Oh, good questions. Let's see. I don't think there's anything I'm surprised you didn't ask me. That doesn't
Okay.
occur to me.
She was like, I knew she was gonna ask about Brene Brown ass.
I knew that. I was like, I'm so here for and I'm like, what am I promoting right now, or do I want people to know about? Definitely get the book, The Body Is Not an Apology, The Power of Radical Self-Love.
Yes.
Look out. So a second edition
Please
is coming
cop
out.
this. Y'all don't understand.
Second edition is coming out on Valentine's Day along with a workbook. So all these questions I'm telling you to ask yourself, they're already, I'm hooking them up for you. Hooking them up. Hooking them up for you right now so that they are, so that we can continue to do this work. Yeah, if I do this work, right? This is my work in the world. So
also something you didn't tell people is go to The Body Is Not an Apology, like I did today, trying to do my little research, this, that, and third. There is a radical 10-step self-care kit that is fucking free. Pam, promote your shit. This is amazing. And then you don't gotta wait for it. It came immediately. It was like step 1. And I was like, look at me taking baby steps and shit.
Already. There's also an e-course if you want to do deeper work. There's a 4-module
I'm gonna make a white person pay for it right now. White person watching this, please support Sonya Renee Taylor by supporting me. I want to take the e-course. I want to love my belly. I want to sit on this nigga face and not care if he die. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's what I'm saying.
Do it. Do it. I'm here for it. So Teachable, the body is not teachable.com. The Body Is Not an Apology, 10 tools intensive. That's the e-course.
I'm ready.
Go take it. Go support Black woman and femme to take the course. White people, it's a wonderful way to support today.
I might do that this week. I have next week off, so I will actually make a white person buy it for me. And I'm going to also offer that to 10 other Black femmes. So whoever is watching this, please write your name down as interested, and I'm going to make that happen this week. I'm off the June 8th through the 12th. I wish a nigga would. Okay. And so who would you like to see on this show?
So here for it. Have you talked to Yaba Blay?
No.
Talk to Yaba. Okay. Talk to Yaba. Every Friday she does a judgment-free zone. It's the most hilarious, fantastic, us in all of our usness ass display ever. Yeah, I think you have a real good conversation.
All right. Thank you so much, Sonya. This has been like the best I hate to say it, but also love it. This has been the best experience I have had on this show thus far. And every experience has been new and unique. But this, I think you have created a container for me to actually be myself and not be like, I've got to perform professionalism and I have to.
I love it.
And so I just appreciate you like bringing that out because I think that made us gel so much more. So thank you so much for appearing on this episode of The Full Set. I love you. I love your work separately from you. And I hope that you have a beautiful midday, afternoon brunch, stroll, whatever you need to do to get through. Down. Listen.
The brunch is about to go down. So thank you for that. Thanks for having me. Thank you. There's nothing that brings me greater joy than being in a conversation with Black folks about how we get free. And so thank you.
Thank you. I hope y'all have a good night. And this has been another great episode of The Full Set with DiDi Delgado. Peace, y'all.
Peace.